Have you ever dreamed of sharing your story with the world but wonder if it could really make a difference? In today's episode, I'm diving into how writing a memoir can not only transform your life, but also inspire and impact others in ways you can't even imagine. Stick around to discover how your journey, no matter how messy or imperfect, can become a source of hope and healing for someone else. Ready to write your first book and make an impact? Do you wish you could organize your book ideas without feeling overwhelmed and actually find the time to write and finish your book? Hey, I'm Donna Cherie, a book writing coach and author. Welcome to Book Writing Made Simple. Inside this podcast, I'll teach you how to get a clear vision for your book idea, get organized, keep it simple, and develop a writing plan so you can finally get your book out into the world. Grab a notebook and pen with your favorite cup of tea. Hey sis, real quick before we get into today's episode, I want to share a review that I recently received. It's from Renee. She said, "Wow, what a resource. Just started listening and I'm blown away at the advice and encouragement Donna gives in her episode. Can't wait to listen to more." Thanks, Renee, for leaving that review. Sis, if you want to receive more advice and encouragement from me, you can come hang out with a group of Christian writers and inspiring authors just like you inside of the free Book Writing Made Simple group. In this group, you'll get support and encouragement from like-minded believers, strategies to get clear vision with a gentle push from me to move forward by faith, and book writing and self-publishing tools. Join now at donnacherie.com/community. Can't wait to see you there, friend. Let's write that book and get it published. I've experienced firsthand how powerful sharing your story can be. Writing my memoir, Untarnished, Reclaiming My Self-Worth, was one of the most transformative experiences of my life. It helped me to further the process of my past, embrace healing, and connect with people in ways I've never thought possible, and hence this podcast. I believe your story has the power to do the same, sis. Not just for you, but for those who need to hear it. So today I want to talk to you about how sharing your story and just writing a memoir can make an impact for those around you and why you should do it. Hopefully this will encourage you to do it. And when I was writing Untarnished, Reclaiming My Self-Worth Through God's Untainted Love, I was writing already from a state of healing and not from a place of like regret or despair or condemnation. But there were some things and parts in the book that as I was writing them, it helped to peel that onion back a little bit deeper, a little bit further to get down to another layer of healing, if you will. And it allowed me to see clearly. Like there were just certain things that I experienced in my life that were really hard. And from writing this book and talking about some of those challenges, it just let me see even more of just God's love, how he loved me, and that healed some further things in my heart. So that's something that could possibly happen to you while you write this book, is that it can help you just get to a deeper place of healing. And the healing is not just for you, but it's also because you're writing from a healed state, and even a further healed state, that person who's reading it can also be healed as well. There was a time also when I didn't think my story was worth sharing. I thought, who would want to read about my life? Like, my life, it's been an interesting journey. I've made some bad decisions, but the Lord has brought me through it all. And what beauty, he turned my ashes into beauty, and why not share that with the world? And I realized that God can use even the most broken parts of our journey to shine his light. Writing my memoir, sis, helped me to see my own growth, and hearing how it has impacted others has been a blessing. That's something that I have shared on previous episodes before, of just an email that I received from someone and they received my book as a gift and how it impacted their life, and just other messages that I've have gotten over the years since writing that book and how lives have been impacted. Or when I see somebody out locally and they're telling me like, I've read your book 3 times and it's really helping me to process. And I'm like, wow, thank you, God, that this book, it wasn't even about me, but just really about being able to impact others. And it just has been such a blessing that I'll never take for granted. That's why I want to encourage you to take the leap. Your story matters, and God wants to allow your story to be shared from a place of healing so that it can help touch, inspire, encourage, and even heal others. One time I was watching a YouTube video from a business mogul that I learned about. He said in one of his videos, nobody wants to hear your story. People don't want to hear that. That's something that won't sell. And that really struck me and hit a nerve in me, because I totally disagree with that statement. And maybe he was saying that from, maybe a sales or marketing perspective of, just being things that generate sales. Yeah, stories may not necessarily generate sales, but I just, it really struck a nerve in me, and I disagree with that. And of course, you're not going to suddenly or necessarily get rich off of sharing your story. And if you're writing it because of that reason, well, I hate to break the bad news to you, that's far-fetched. That's far-fetched. I mean, of course, unless you already have this big platform and you've been sharing your story for decades. Somebody who I think about that is like Eric Thomas. He talks about his story of homelessness, but how he's turned that into empowerment and motivation and all of that. But again, that has taken years. But going back to what this business person said on YouTube, I want to affirm you today that sharing your story does matter. And it doesn't matter who says you shouldn't tell it. If God put it on your heart to tell it and share it with the world and place it in a book and then talk about his redemptive power and his transformation, do it. Don't worry about if such and such said don't do it. Don't worry about any lies or what someone else is doing. Do what God is calling you to do, to write that book. But if you've been thinking about how writing a memoir can actually change lives, plant some seeds or water them. And then here are some things I want you to consider about how your memoir can help change lives. Number one, not the fact that it can just only change lives, but it can change your life. And with that, I mean healing for yourself. So writing helps you to reflect, to process, and to heal from past experiences. As I shared earlier, it helped to pull back a next layer or an inner healing that I didn't even know exists. And it also helped to change my perspective about a certain relative, like, a close relative. I mean, of course, I had already forgiven them, but it really helped unlock my lens and have this deeper level of love for them just from writing my book. So it helped me to provide healing for myself and also to be able to express and show love to this person without, any deep hard feelings. So that's one of the things I want to share with you about how a memoir can help, change your life or change lives. It's going to change your life, number one, and then it also helps to change other lives. So it's going to provide encouragement for others. Your story can inspire someone who feels alone in their struggles. How about you? Have you ever had that time just while you were in a situation or in a state of being that you just felt so alone that nobody could help you, that no one was there for you? It was only by the grace of God that you made it out and survived. And by sharing that part of your story and your journey, it offers encouragement to others. And it can help them to get out of a hard place or to get out of a rock that they've been in and help alleviate this place of isolation and start to experience joy or do something different or shift their mindset or allow them to see a different way than what they were thinking. It helps to release strongholds. So not only offer an encouragement, but your story can help break strongholds in someone else's life. And how powerful is that? That's so powerful. The next thing that a memoir can do to help change lives is to build legacy for future generations. So a memoir allows you to leave a lasting impact. Once you have printed this book, it's out there in the world. Somebody can go and get it on Amazon or possibly in Target, Barnes and Noble. You have that ISBN number and it is available. Somebody can request it at their local library. And I don't want to sound morbid, but even after your death, your book will be there and available to someone else, even for another generation, because we know that things can repeat themselves. And when I say things, I mean circumstances. Like there's nothing new under the sun. And unfortunately, we live in a fallen, sinful world. So there's things that are going to happen to people that can be traumatic or, put them it may not even be traumatic, but put them in a place of despair or just have this lack of knowledge in a certain area. It doesn't have to be something that is so painful as well, but it could be even that you're educating individuals or you're training them and empower them. You're empowering future generations, and man, that makes a lasting impact, and that is so powerful as well. And then the last thing that I want to leave you here today as you're thinking about writing a memoir is that, sorry, it's not the last thing. I have two more things, getting ahead of myself. So the next thing that I want to leave you with is that it gives you the opportunity it opens up new doors for you. So once you have that book out into the world, it can become your business card. If you're someone who desires to coach clients, if you're looking to get involved with organizations, that you care about in your local community, it can help you engage with them. You can say, hey, here's a copy of my book. I'd love for you to read it and just tell me what you think of it. There's other opportunities. So if you aspire to do a TED Talk, or if you're leading a ministry at your church, or just other things, there's so many ways. And we'll talk about this one day on the platform. We'll talk about this one day on the show, how your book can open up doors for you on different platforms to be able to go out. Like, for instance, one of my friends actually got a copy of my book, and she gave it to a director of an organization. And the lady, she was so intrigued by just what was on the back cover. And she read the synopsis of what my book was about, and she invited me to come in to have a conversation with her. And from that conversation led to other things. So the organization, they purchased a certain number of copies of my book to be able to give to their participants. It opened up a door for a speaking engagement. It opened up a door to become more active in their organization. So that's something that you can do once you have this memoir written. It's going to help change lives, and it's going to open up those doors of opportunity for you to move into those different rooms and spaces and to really take authority over the message that God has given you to be able to share with others. And how fabulous is that? I've also had other opportunities to speak with local organizations too, who have purchased my book or allowed me to come speak to a group of people to empower them, and just so much. And it's a wonderful thing to be able to do. It's not just about making a dollar, but it's about making an impact. And then the other thing that you should definitely, number one consideration to writing your memoir is that it's going to give you the opportunity to glorify God. And being able to share your story to uplift the name of Christ, what's better than that? What's better than that? And that it can also give you the opportunity to be able to change someone's eternal destiny from the words that you have written down in the pages of your book. And they're able to see Jesus Christ when they open up the book through your story. How cool, how wonderful, how impactful is that? When you write your memoir, that it gives you the opportunity to glorify God. Like if you lift him up through your words, through your writing, that those readers will be able to glorify him and draw near to God. So sharing your journey is a way to testify to God's faithfulness and to just share who he is. You never know if that reader knows him or not, or who might give them your book, or where they might find your book, or what state they might be in. And your book comes right in at the perfect time. My goodness. And that it just lights me up. And they're able to read your story and read your memoir. And it just impacts them in a lasting way. That what could be better than that? So if you're considering writing a memoir and writing a memoir that can change lives, here are just some of the examples of what it can really do. Because I know some people get stuck. They're like, I don't know what I should do, if I should write a memoir or if I should write a devotion or autobiography. With a memoir, that's I will say that I don't want to say that it's quicker than an autobiography, but it kind of just alleviates all those perfect timestamps and really just like talking about all of your life. But with a memoir, you can talk about certain points of your journey, certain points of your story that really helps to connect to readers, which will be impactful to them and also which will be in a transformative way. I hope that you will go ahead and write your memoir if that is something that God has placed on your heart to do. I encourage you to take a step of faith and to start writing the vision for your memoir. Write the vision. What is it? What do you want to be about? If you don't know what to write about, or there's so much of your story that you can share, ask yourself, what part of my story could help someone else? So if you're thinking about writing your memoir, be sure to write down your vision. Or if you don't have an idea, I want you to write this down. What part of my story could help someone else? And if you need support, of course, come and join us inside of the Book Writing Made Simple Writers community at donnacherie.com/community. Let's do this together. And I'm telling you, sis, your story is too powerful to keep hidden. So be sure to come and connect with us over at Book Writing Made Simple. I'd love to hear from you, learn more about you, what kind of book you desire to write, and equip you to do so. And also encourage you and give you strategies to do that and to do it in less time than the time that you've been contemplating on doing this, and actually start prioritizing your book. So I'll talk to you next week. I hope that this message has encouraged you today. And until next time, ciao. Thanks for tuning in. I hope today's episode inspired you to take that next step to write your book. Remember, small steps lead to big results. If this podcast has blessed you in some way, be sure to leave a written review on Apple Podcasts. Your support means the world to me, and it helps others to find the show. Also, be sure to pass on the inspiration by sharing this episode with a friend who could benefit from this message. God bless you, sis, and never, ever give up.